Okay, so what I understood on Saturday is that maybe you can try it out. Is that whenever we like something, there is many things which we don't like, or rather, we have more hatred than liking. That's the other way to put it. So let's say I don't, I like a particular song or a sound or whatever it is. Then there are, other than that, I don't like anything else. So there is in the duality, I have reached one of the extreme. That is, I don't like it, and hence I like something. So I was observing on sound and taste and touch and smell and sight and thoughts. All I have the same dimension. If I like something, then I like that because it resonates with what I personally feel. So let sound or taste or whatever. So there is this himsa without knowing. So the objective is to give up liking, then the disliking will go away. You cannot give up disliking because liking creates disliking. I don't know what do you think?
So you are telling liking creates disliking, right? Yeah. Raga means you have opposite side of the coin.
Yeah, that is correct. But then
Yes.
the thing is like this: if I want to come out of hatred, or rather, I hate everything, and that's the reason I like something.
Yeah, I think it's very clear. I hate something because I want something. I like something. Yes.
So if I were to come out of hatredness, what should I do? I should stop liking.
Yes, I should stop liking. Correct.
It's not that I should stop hating.
You're right. You're right.
So this is one.
That is nothing but desire. You should have desire, right? Liking means.
No. Desire, without desire, you cannot even reach the ultimate. That is not the question. The question is not on desire. The question.
No, I'm talking about desire of materialistic desire. It should not be.
No, it can be anything. See, the desire is required, materialistic or spiritualistic or whatever. The desire is going to be there. Now, liking something is like if we in the what is that in the statistics or whatever you have this set, right? So we have union. So we have two sets A and B, and we are doing a union. In that small thing, we are liking out of the whole population. And that liking, if you give up, then you are taking the whole. Then you are not disliking anything.
Say again.
See, let's say there are this set A and set B, and they are independent. Now we create a dependency by making a union. So then there are objects of A inside that a small thing, and objects of B. That is my liking, basically. Right? Out of 100 different things, I like this much. So if I like that much, there are all the other things which are there in A and B, I am not liking. So that is hatred. Now, how do I come out of hatred? Because if I don't come out of hatred, I will never reach the other shore, which is liberation. So what I should do? Should I invest my energy in stopping hating, or should I invest energy in stopping liking? What is
again stopping liking? Then automatically other one will go away.
So that is what. So that small union I have to remove.
Yes, correct.
And then
root cause analysis. What you are doing?
Yes. So I found out that if I say I like something, that means the remaining things I dislike.
Correct.
So that really makes spirituality very far away.
Yes, existing things you don't like because that's the reason you want something.
Yes, I want something which is not there.
That what you want something you are trying to, because it is there within your control to say that no, I can stop it. That liking.
Yes. So now if I get it, I feel happy. If I don't get it, then that earlier dissatisfaction which was there is going to continue.
Yeah, which also means one more step. What my liking, I'm trying to stop it. So that naturally dislike will go away. Which is also the meaning is I should be in the current stage, don't have any special liking on anything of this Panchabhutas. Whatever comes, take it.
Correct. So the understanding what I got is that stop liking. The moment I stop liking, the disliking also goes away. That is the beauty of it. See, let's say.
Yeah, correct. It's a clear understanding.
Okay, so that is one. And yesterday I had another experience is that how mind thinks and what consciousness does. So this ishwara, what it does. So let's say my name is called, let's say Vilas. And then the head turns, but Vilas doesn't turn. The head turns towards the direction of the sound only. But the mind feels that it is Vilas. So consciousness is able to do two things. One, it can move the entire Prithvi, Apo, Vayo, Tejo immediately towards the sense door. And two, connect it to the sense object or connect the senses to the sense object. So as soon as the name of Vilas is said, instantaneously the head turns towards the sound, and then these two get connected. That is, the object, the sound, with the ear gets connected by this consciousness, and the mind immediately starts running and then responds, yes, tell me. So from the language what has been learned in the left brain is transmitted immediately to the mouth, and consciousness then opens the larynx and the sound, the vocal cord, they start trembling, and then the sound is made. So this step I was able to see. It is electricity only. There is nothing other than electrical impulses which are coming.
I think, can you say again about what you have experienced, electricity?
See, okay, I'll again go back and slowly explain what it is. So let's say you ask me this question. Now what happens? The sound is coming. So the consciousness pulls the ear towards the sense object, which is the sound. Are you okay till here? Sound is a vibration. One minute. Anjo? Okay, you if you want to listen, you can. ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಡ.
Can I sit?
Yes, you can.
So let's say you have this sound which is coming. Sound is a vibration.
Yes.
Now this electric spark comes in, which is called consciousness. That then moves the ear drum near the sound.
Correct.
Then in the brain, left side of the brain is the language, wherein whatever has been learnt or whatever language has been spoken. Now you are asking me this question in English, so I am answering in English. If you had spoken to me in Kannada, I would have answered in Kannada. But if Lata would have asked this question in Malayalam, I cannot. So because that in the left brain, that information is not there. It only comes as sound. So there is, the mind cannot really make up anything of that. So there is no perception and there is no feeling. Both are missing. So what I wanted to tell you is, there is no person who is really doing anything. Instead, what is happening here is that the sound which is coming to the ear, which is connected by consciousness, the mind feels that it is responding to it. Okay. So this electric motion which is happening is what consciousness is all about. So it is able to move the head, it is able to open the mouth, it is able to vibrate the larynx and the vocal cords and all that, and then the sound comes based upon what is being understood by the mind. So all of these tasks is done by the consciousness, not by the mind. So let's
1 minute. All the tasks are done by the consciousness.
Yes.
But actually, consciousness is not doing anything, right?
It is
it's
just
only mind has to do.
Yes, in mind is doing of perception and feeling. It is not doing other than that. Whereas consciousness connects everything.
Yeah. Within the consciousness, everything happens. But consciousness is just a static, my understanding. It's just energy and na karta na bhokta. It's not doing anything, no doer.
Correct.
There is no doer. It's
Correct.
like a screen in the film. Only we watch something.
Correct. But here, like what we discussed on Friday, we have directed consciousness. So this mind is directing it to do something.
Mind is directed to do by something. Who is telling mind to by mind? Only mind tells, right?
Yes, mind tells consciousness. Or consciousness works along with the mind, whichever way you want to take it. So on Friday,
I understand the base as energy. Yes, consciousness is there, but mind is doing all this. Perception is mind, and doing action is also mind. Every action is either it will be what you call karya, or it can be something for the achievement of some goals, some desire.
So no, that is correct. So what I am trying to tell you is, now this mind is an instrument. It is not a living entity.
Correct.
But consciousness is a living entity.
Yes.
Now what happens here is that the consciousness becomes a witness of everything.
Correct.
Now it has wrongly connected things which mind wanted it to do. So let's say a girl comes to my home and I'm observing her in a different way. Who has to be blamed? Is the mind to be blamed or consciousness has to be blamed?
Mind.
No. Mind is again an instrument. It has only impressions. The Viveka was in the consciousness. To do or not to do is in consciousness. And that's the reason it is called Baddha Atma.
You are not talking about the pure consciousness. You are talking in between something.
No, it is consciousness, pure or impure or whatever, that we will come to that later. So in every five senses, the connection is given by...
I am unable to understand because the definition of consciousness is it's just energy. It will not do anything.
Yes, it
but
is
you
just...
can use it.
Yes, but who is using it? The mind, right?
Mind is using, yes.
But mind is an instrument. Mind is not a living entity.
Correct.
So who will bear the karma then?
Karma is to mind, not to the consciousness.
So then when the person dies, then the mind has taken the karma, so the consciousness is freed, right?
No, when the person is died, only that Panchabhuta related things have gone away, but that mind, that instrument will be there, and it will also have that energy connected.
So that energy is there,
it's
right?
in the Bija Swarupa.
No, correct, fine. The energy is there, right?
Energy is there, yes.
The energy then cannot get liberated, correct?
Energy will not get liberated because of bound now, because
so
there is no moksha. Yeah.
There is no moksha for the energy. There is nothing to do with mind. Correct.
Yeah, energy is tied by this mind. Correct.
Exactly. So the awareness meditation or whatever we were talking about some days ago, yesterday what I saw is that when the name is called, let us say Vilas is called, head turning to moving the body there or whatever is done by consciousness. Okay. Mind perceives the name because it has been conditioned to believe that it is Vilas. Consciousness has got no role to play with Vilas. Are you clear till here?
Yeah.
Okay. Now this Vilas name is called, let's say there is a object to enjoy. Let's say, let's take dosa. Okay. The dosa is in the mind. It's a perception. The feeling is in the mind. Whereas the action of connecting whatever mind desires is in the consciousness. So the karmic fruit of action is then taken by that directed consciousness. And mind enjoys that perception and feeling. So when this chitta goes away, the mind loses that attention, so there is nothing to enjoy. So any product which comes into, or any object that comes into the vicinity of the five senses, the moment it is got, it gets expelled, because there is, that instrument cannot enjoy anything. That enjoyer is the consciousness, which is always blissful. So you can really see this in action with all the six senses. It will be manifesting.
Can you tell me again the example?
Okay, now I will take that example of dosa. Okay, so let us dissect one by one. Okay, so there is, I and you have gone to, let us say, in our ABB canteen itself, right? So now let's say you have ordered for something and I have ordered for masala dosa.
Yes.
Okay. So we are sitting in the table. Okay. Now the name Vilas is called. What happens?
Immediately your attention, first is sound, next is vision.
Yes,
then
towards
you will
the sound.
Look
yes,
at
towards
that
the sound.
person, you will go and you will collect.
Now you will go means that body is moving, right?
Yes.
The body is moving towards the sound.
Correct.
And the sight.
Correct.
Who is connecting this? Is it the mind which is going there to take the dosa, or is it the consciousness which is making this whole body and mind to walk towards the dosa?
The walking action happens because the energy fed from consciousness.
Not only that, the sound is also connected by the consciousness.
Correct. Correct. All
So-
this, because wherever you see energy, it is coming from source. That is consciousness.
Yes, so now that is coming through consciousness. So
Yes.
I pick up the dosa.
Mm.
Is there any dosa there? It is nama and rupa,
Yes.
which is perception and feeling. So there is
It's
a
a perception. Yeah. It's
There is
all perception.
so there is a feeling of dosa and there is a perception of dosa.
Everything is perception. Correct.
Okay. Now what did I pick up? Dosa.
That's it.
But who picked it up? I'm holding the plate. The plate is held by whom?
My body, my mind.
No, the plate is held by the body, which is consciousness, right? Otherwise, there is.
Yeah. Because energy. Yes.
Okay. Now, who is opening the mouth? Consciousness.
Energy is consciousness. Yeah. Okay. Let's follow that.
So now consciousness.
All actions through consciousness. That's
So
what you
where is the
are
dosa
saying.
then? Where is the dosa then? There was never there.
See, that part is a perception. The perception
Correct.
is energy by consciousness.
Now that is where the liking is. I like the dosa, which is a perception.
Yeah, liking comes from the perception, but energy given to that perception, so that all those actions are happening.
Correct. So it has done with a directed attention, right? The consciousness is directed by the mind, which is wrongly doing it. Correct?
Yes, the mind is directing the consciousness
To do
to feed
something.
energy.
Yes.
Yes,
So
to feed
now,
energy because of your punyam energy is there.
fine. Punya Papa. Now what happens is that oil and whatever he puts in that dosa is not good for health.
Yes.
But I am addicted to dosa. I am addicted means the mind is addicted to dosa. It has a perception that it is very good. It has a feeling that it is very good.
Yeah.
But when the consciousness takes that food, it doesn't do anything apart from digesting the food.
Consciousness is taking the moving the food, taking one place to other place. Yes.
Yes, it takes the food from one place to another place, right?
Yes.
That is not handled by mind.
Movement, everything is by consciousness.
Exactly. So the Vayu, it is able to move the Vayu, it is able to move the Apo, it is able to move the Prithvi, it is able to move the Tejo or fire, right?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Any of these 5 elements through energy can be changed.
Exactly. So energy is modifying the form.
Yes.
Energy is energy, form is form, right?
Yes.
So if you put the thermodynamics, energy can never be produced nor destroyed, matter can never be produced nor destroyed.
Correct.
Okay, they both remain the way it is. It seems to be like that.
Yeah.
But in the mind, I feel, that is, the mind feels that it is doing something. It had a dosa.
You're right. We are completely, we think it's all, yes, from the mind it happens.
Right. So the perception of dosa and the feeling of dosa has got nothing to do with consciousness. Now,
perception is nothing to do with the consciousness, right?
Yes. Now, when there is a disease appearing in the body, consciousness has got no role over it, but the pain is felt by the mind. You got the point? The pleasure was got by the mind, and hence the pain also is experienced by the same mind.
Yes.
So neither you are healthy nor you are sick as a consciousness.
Correct. There is nothing called health or sickness.
Yes. So there is no duality.
Okay. Now you are bringing to Ayurveda. Let's see. What is next?
When you don't have any duality, you move from undirected to undirected consciousness, which is release. So now you see yourself everywhere. So
how to achieve that?
how do you see that? Is that you remove your perception and feeling about dosa, then you are seeing everything as things are.
Yeah, I see that dosa is very good meditation. It is possible to practice. But when the disease comes, it is a pain. It is coming to your mind. You cannot think anything beyond that because you have pain.
So when the dosa comes, you have to treat it as a pain. So then when this pain comes, there is no pain.
If you can achieve that, you don't need any painkillers. No?
Exactly.
Because that is something is only for yogic people may be possible. It is hypnotism, self-hypnotism is needed, or what you call disconnection from that perception to perception and
Feeling.
our consciousness. Disconnection is needed that time, right?
Correct. So this is what I experienced yesterday.
So you are able to manage this during when you are experiencing pain.
Yes. So
This
yesterday,
meditation.
yes, yesterday I had some backache, so I was able to do that.
Very good.
So then there is no back or nor ache.
See, the pain, can I define like this? Pain is nothing but it's a very, very strongly, closely bound with this mind and the body. That is inseparable from, for a common man, from consciousness. But you are able to achieve it.
Yeah. So when I start seeing how consciousness connects things, okay, and from the mind only I'm able to see it, not from I as an individual. So I was perceiving wrong thing, now I'm perceiving right thing, that consciousness is connecting it. So what happens here is, instead of pain I get burning sensation.
Instead of pain, you are getting burning sensation.
Okay, the burning sensation is because of heat, which is generated due to rubbing of the Prithvi element with something over there.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so now
what is the definition of pain? Actually, what happens during that time? It is over action. Something happens in those
no,
cells.
no. When we have pleasure, when we feel pleasure, actually you are feeling pain of it. But mind camouflages it to be a pleasure. I'll give an example.
Actual pleasure is the pain. Based on your first definition. Yes.
Yes, actual pleasure is the pain. Now let's take this example wherein I am supposed.
That means again I am repeating. Any movement happens is a pain.
Correct. So any mind movement is the pain.
Yeah, it is against. Where's the movement? It's against normal.
Yes. So yogaha chitta vritti nirodha is what you will experience, because if there is a movement, it is going to be pain.
Right.
It is going to be pain. It is whether you do this or that or whatever, and as soon as there is an expectation, there is going to be pain.
Without movement, there is no samsara.
Yes, without movement, there is no samsara, and you are released. There is no.
And without movement, there is no mind also.
Yes, it doesn't perceive nor it feels.
So if you have a pain in some place, and if you are able to lift the consciousness out of that, then the pain goes away, isn't it?
Yes, so you will never experience the pain.
Yeah.
So first you get a burning sensation, after it turns numb, so there is nothing felt. Simple.
Yeah, to tell it is simple.
So yesterday I had real good feeling or blissful feeling that anything I am able to see or hear or touch or smell or taste or think, all are the same. So how consciousness make this miracle or a illusion happen? And that's the reason jagat is mithya, because it creates this illusion. The consciousness itself creates an illusion that when the name is called, the face changes, the head turning changes and all that, and the mind feels that it is doing it, but it is not. The consciousness itself is doing it. So there's a wrong perception on the mind to think that it is itself doing it. So if I have a catch in my, let's say, neck, which I had some 1 year back when I was in the office, I was not able to move the neck. So mind wants to move the neck, but then it cannot. So what I used to do is to turn my whole body. That is again moved by the consciousness, not by the mind. So as soon as the mind directs to hear or smell or taste or touch and see, consciousness make that possible. Like a magician, it does that.
So it works like a slave of mind, no?
Yes, so that is why we are supposed to understand that you are not the mind, but you are the consciousness, and hence mind is the slave, not the consciousness. So that is awareness meditation. You are completely aware of what is happening. So when this wife calls, there is no wife. That's a perception in the mind that there is wife, and there is a feeling in the mind that this is my wife. However, what is coming is the sound. So if I can observe the sound and react to the sound as sound in the mind disappears, leaving only the consciousness. So there is conscious observation now of the person who is calling my name, or supposed to be calling my name. So there's only sound. Now, from the language what I have learned, Kannada or English or Sanskrit or Tamil or Malayalam or whatever it is, on the language what has been sensed in the brain, I then talk. Again, it is a sound. And that is interpreted by the consciousness through connection. And in the brain, again, chemical signals and all that, like the neurons firing, it connects the synapse, and then you have an information flow, and it gives you the result that this is what has been spoken. So this whole thing of connection everywhere is done by consciousness. Mind has no clue of how this is connecting. Now when the mind approves that consciousness is the owner and it is a slave, it follows the consciousness everywhere. So it gets released. Meaning, mind will release the consciousness from its hook. And towards the end of that life of that mind, consciousness disappears permanently because it is undirected. Right now, it is directed. So, this is the experience what you will get. What happened? Total silence.
No, this is excellent philosophy.
Yeah, so but anyway, you need mind as an instrument for directing the consciousness.
Yes, you require for both. For doing wrong thing
But-
also. Yeah, go ahead.
But for these sense organs, also can direct by itself? Or?
No. The senses, see that, like in the case that your sound comes and drops at the sense door, ear, and there is a sound. So it has two choices. Mind can disconnect the sound, which it doesn't like. Let's say it can ignore, so that ignorance can be done. So in that particular case, no sound is heard. because the consciousness is not connecting the sense and the sense object. Like during sleep.
No, but you will see even okay. During sleep, it's a different thing. When you're awake,
Yes.
you are hearing some sound, but some sound is there. But only thing is, you will not label it. Right?
You will not
so
label.
the sound you will still hear.
No. When you are doing something, even if the phone is ringing, you will not realize. Correct. When you're focused and doing something, it can only power one instrument at a time. So when I am engrossed in my thoughts, let's say, even if somebody is sitting in front of me, somebody is talking to me, or whatever it is, it doesn't react. Just like a person who is depressed, he cannot hear any sound, he cannot see anything also. He is lost, or he or she is lost in their thoughts. Agreeable?
Yeah, but then when you talk a little bit more loudly, then you will hear, right?
No, you talk loudly and that person will be staring at you, and then you have to touch him or her and shake that person up, and then that thought will disappear. That means the consciousness goes out of that thought. Then the consciousness appears near the place where that you have touched, and then the person will jerk, say, you shook me off, you made me fear. Correct? Why? Because there was no consciousness. This you can try it out. See, we are lost somewhere. We are lost somewhere, and suddenly somebody touches us. Then what happens?
Yeah. The Kushi can answer that very well. Yeah, you'll get scared. Yes.
Yes, you will get goosebumps. You literally scared me. Is what that is again language. So mind is putting the language and then speaking. But why it happened? Because there was no consciousness other than the thoughts. So the consciousness, that is the mind and the thoughts, got connected through the consciousness, and the consciousness departed from the body, departed from the eyes, ears, nose, tongue. All of these were gone. There was no consciousness. It was an inert body. So at that time, even if a snake were to crawl, or a mosquito were to bite, or a bee were to sting, that person would not know. Because there is no consciousness. Except for wherever it should be. So when we are engrossed in a movie, what happens? You become the movie. The mind becomes the movie. So all the five senses are gone. Only the thoughts starts to go helter skelter. So whatever is visual and sound is coming, that is converted back into the thought. So the person forgets himself or herself. And this you can see in action. Literally, if you follow, if you really see what is happening, the sound coming, how the head is moving, what it is moving to, if we see all of that one by one, we will see this change happening. And we can see how consciousness then pulls everything together, and mind feels that it is doing it. Now when the mind sees that it is not the mind which was doing it, it is consciousness, then it surrenders. And once the mind surrenders to the consciousness, then everything starts working. So this was the experience yesterday.
So during this experience, only your mind worked, but all your connection with this prapancha is disconnected, right?
Yes, there is no prapancha at all.
Mhm. But you are able to experience your mind by consciousness, using consciousness, but you have no connection with the prapancha, real world.
The world consists of 5 sense objects, so there is no object at all. See, jeevi, jagat, ishwara. So ishwara is the directed consciousness. Jagat is the sense object. Jeevi is the senses plus the mind plus the buddhi, ahankara, and the body and intellect. All the buddhi is intellect only anyway. So this that is in jeevi exist ishwara to experience jagat. Now, when the jeevi disconnects jagat, jeevi also gets disconnected along with jagat. So what remains is only ishwara, the directed consciousness you can observe, plus the ayus, that is the life stream, what is running the same consciousness. Still it is supposed to exist in this body, which it is supposed to manipulate the prithvi, apo, vayo, tejo in a particular way, will keep on functioning. When the time comes for this consciousness, that is the ayus consciousness, to depart, the directed consciousness is no longer directed, it is also undirected. So it will merge itself with the universal consciousness, which is Paramatma. So the jeevi, which was included in the ishwara, will lose the ishwara as well as jeevi and jagat, and it becomes aham brahmasmi. So that is what you will experience. I'll again repeat what I said. So first thing is jagat. Jagat is 5 sense objects, which is what, when we go to sleep, the jagat goes away because there is no object to sense. That is sleep in the sense deep sleep. Then who is experiencer there? The jeevi cannot experience anything because there is no sense object to experience. So jeevi gets dissolved along with the jagat. Now what remains is the ishwara, which is consciousness. And there is no directed consciousness also. So ishwara is overall ishwara, not an individual ishwara. Okay.
So you have separated jagat from jeevi and ishwara.
You just have to separate the jagat. Everything else will work. So what I need to do is consciously observe what is dosa. Then there is no dosa. Consciously observe a person. Then there is no person. Consciously observe any object as an object. Don't attach, don't feel that it is my object. Then the jagat is gone. If jagat goes away, jeevi also goes away along with that. So you are only ishwara.
You only ishwara. Correct. Very nice meditation. Very nice.
So I need to just observe when somebody calls my name, it is not Vilas who is turning. Anybody being called by their names, they will turn. That means it is only perception. And there is a feeling of sound which comes saying that Vilas. So now what I need to do is observe how the body is moving. And this movement is done by consciousness, not by the mind. Let's say I have got paralysis attack and the body loses consciousness. That part of the body loses consciousness. Then that we say also. But what is mind able to do? Nothing. it can't do anything. Consciousness has to come back by itself, or that whole body part is useless. Right? So, paralysis attack is a name given, but what really is happening? The consciousness is departing from that part of the body.
Mm.
So, if I really pull the consciousness out from each part of the body, it is as good as dead body. So, if the mind were to pull the consciousness from there, you will initially feel burning sensation. After that, there is no sensation at all, and it is blissful experience. So now you
I
can.
am asking one question here.
Yeah, go ahead.
See, in this process, so the rasa in the life is you are taking away. It can be that there are navarasas, right? Yeah, you are
Yes.
taking away.
Yes.
And there is no interest in the life with this approach, because nothing is you want to get attached, because it is mithya.
Correct.
So during this process, when you are not connected with this prapancha, but it is there with you, for your instrument it's easy to perceive, but you don't want to perceive. So now the instrument itself is waste. Finally, you are dropping the instrument in the whole process.
Correct.
Yeah.
Very
So
correct.
that means what I wanted to ask, actually I forgot something very important. I wanted to understand that. So when you drop everything which is there in front of you, then what is there to achieve in this life?
There is nothing to achieve, so you have achieved what has to be achieved.
Yeah, one question. When you said the consciousness departs from that part of the body, okay, so that means that directed, the consciousness become undirected.
That
It's not that consciousness is departed anywhere.
no, that consciousness is not departed, but that machine is not connected for the electricity to flow.
Yeah, correct. So there is no directed consciousness.
There is no directed consciousness, so it cannot
That is
feel.
gone. But yeah, so it cannot sense this undirected consciousness.
Yes.
Which is there.
Yes. It cannot sense.
Because the consciousness doesn't go anywhere, right? So it is there everywhere.
Yes.
All across, all pervading, whether
All
dead
pervading,
or
yes.
alive or whatever.
Yes.
So only that directedness is what is going away.
Yes, that can no longer direct it,
Yes,
which is as good as undirected.
correct.
So all the what I can say, all objects which are connected and called as stone or sand or this or that or sky or whatever is all created through consciousness only.
Right, but they don't have capacity to direct the consciousness.
Yes, they don't have capacity to direct the consciousness, nor that consciousness is directing anything there. It is making
Yeah.
things happen. Whereas in the case of us, the mind is able to direct the consciousness.
And the consciousness is supporting it.
Consciousness either way will support, whether it is directed or undirected, right?
Undirected will not do anything, right? So it is just there.
Correct. It will not do anything. Now, in this particular case, it is established itself like a whirlpool. Keeps on circling within itself.
Yes.
So, what we need to do is make the mind also undirected so that it releases itself from the consciousness and lets it off. And then there is release. So the whirlpool is gone. There's no longer any whirlpool. You can only see water flowing. You can no longer see the whirlpool. As long as whirlpool exists, it can exist here or it can exist there. It can be the same whirlpool or a different whirlpool. So with the same whirlpool, we call it as reincarnation. If it is a different whirlpool, we call it as rebirth.
What's it? Can you repeat? With
If
the
it,
same
whirlpool, if the same whirlpool, let us say near any river, and I know one river like in Kaveri, so I every day see this same sized whirlpool every day, and then I see it moving away to another place, not at the place where I used to see it every day, but I'm seeing it moving to another place. What would I call it as? Reincarnation. It has got reincarnated as whirlpool number 2, where it was earlier called as Vilas, now it is called as something else, but they both are same. Okay. Now, the size and the width and the depth varies, but it's another whirlpool. What we can say? It is rebirth. It is neither different nor is the same. So we all have taken rebirth because of the mind and mind which is perceive and feel. So whatever we felt, we are continuing, but not exactly similar or exactly the same. It is similar, but not the same. And
that's true. So now you have some set of karmas attached to us.
Correct.
So we have this kind of personality, and then when you go somewhere else, then you will have take another set of karma and be a totally different personality.
Correct.
No relation to. So you
Correct.
can say neither say you're same, nor you can say you're different.
Correct. Very correct. And that is the reason it is called as rebirth. Whereas if it is exactly the same, or you are continuing from your previous birth and is exactly the same, then it is reincarnation. You come back as the same person in a different body. So what generally happens is rebirth, not reincarnation, because the mind can only feel and perceive, and we cannot say that it can feel and perceive the same thing all the time. It depends on the situation. It depends on the conditions. So all that we are doing is a conditional existence to perceive 5 senses through and interact with the sense object, that is jagat. So this ishwara connects both the jagat and the jeevi, making it live, just like the YouTube live what I've done. And when the right time comes, the karma ends and the jeevi departs, leaving the jagat. But it is pulled by this ishwara to another place, and it establishes there, called as rebirth. Again, another set of jagat starts there, because it's the same continuation of jagat. So either you can see or hear or taste and touch and smell and think. So that continues.
So as soon as you leave the body at death, right, every other senses will remain except the touch.
Except the touch, yes, correct.
Right, only touch we lose, because we lose that prithvi composition probably.
Yes, you will not only lose prithvi composition, you will also lose the apo composition. So you can never perceive anything. You require something to bind together, which is apo. That also will not be there. So it's all unbound, right?
Yeah, correct. So prithvi and apo will go away. So then you can see, but you can hear, you can smell.
Correct. So
you cannot touch and taste.
You cannot touch nor taste, because you require apo to taste, you require prithvi to touch. So nothing seems to be working.
But you are still in this jagat only.
Yeah. Jagat you cannot cross, because jagat is 5 sense object.
Yeah, correct.
The object remains, but you cannot sense it.
Yes, that's true. But you are still in the jagat only with some limited.
Yes. So senses. you will still be smelling. You will still be You cannot taste, so you will still be hearing, okay, and smelling, and then what else?
Seeing.
So you have Agni, so you can see. You have Vayu, so you can move. And you have Tejo is over. And then
Space is there, so you can hear.
Space is there, so you can hear. Correct. That is all what happens. So a person is reborn. So what he requires is other two, which is Apo and Prithvi. So once he gets it, based upon the karma, the consciousness establishes there. This is directed consciousness. So if the karma made in the mind, that is perception and feeling, is of a dog, I will have a dog's life. I have a rebirth as dog, not reincarnated as a dog. I am reborn. That is this mind, which is talking spirituality now, got entangled in a dog because of the perception of a dog and feeling like a dog. So the body which gets transformed immediately is of a dog, and the taste buds will convert itself into a dog. The other three are same. So now I will see like a dog, because the feeling and perception is of a dog. So the senses get realigned to that particular animal.
Yeah, it's a perfectly working system.
Yes.
Yeah. Vilas, I have to join another meeting.
Yes. So
very nice discussions today.
So we will end and we'll meet tomorrow again.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.